Good morning. Sig and I got up to the cabin right before sunset last night, so we didn't film anything at all. We went for a quick walk just to get him out because it was a 6-hour drive to get here. But we're gonna go on a morning walk, get him a little bit more exercise, and yeah, see what we get up to the next couple days. A really cool feature of the property is there are a lot of mature white pines, and under one of those mature white pines there's a handful of these little baby white pines. So in the future we're hoping to do our best to cultivate good spots for white pine. In Minnesota they are a difficult species to keep alive. The whole forest used to be white pines here. But after logging of the 1800s, you can see one way off in the distance here too. After logging in the 1800s, early 1900s, many houses across the United States were built with white pine from Minnesota. It was actually the largest standing white pine forest. Obviously, across from Maine, Vermont, Michigan, Wisconsin, there were quite a few states that have them, but Minnesota, for some reason, it was a lot more difficult for them to come back. They say now there's like, I want to say it's 5 to 10% of what used to be white pine forest actually has white pine still, which is kind of a crazy statistic. Deer population is one thing that kills little baby white pines. They bite off the buds and then the trees just die. So it's hard to get them to cultivate well. A lot of other factors too. Here being once all the white pine forests were cut down, there were a lot of popple and other hardwoods that grew in their place, aspen, different things. So there are a lot of different trees that grew up in their place, and white pines need space to grow. They need the right soil to grow. They need, there's a lot of hey Sig, just hold up, bud. There's a lot of things that come into play with white pine that can make them very difficult to take hold in a place. What you doing, Sigurd? Are you enjoying the walk? He really wants to hit the trail. So Minnesota was carved by the glaciers. And so there are what are called erratics all throughout the forest up here. Just giant boulders that were moved as the glaciers moved through this whole region. So one of the reasons Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes is because of those glaciers. So Sigurd and I are currently on national forest land south of our property, or the property we're buying. And we're on what some maps show as an old logging road. That was kind of a trail, but now we are at a point where it just turns into trees. So looking at a GIS map, there is a pond up here that I've gone to about a year ago. So I'm hoping to walk up there with Sig. You can kind of see an opening in the sky up there, so I'm guessing that is the pond. Walking without a trail through woods can be very difficult with Sig because he'll go under something like that or around a certain tree that I have to go and figure out going around too. Just like Just like that. All right, bud, we're going this way. This way, this way. Good. Ooh. Pretty sure we made it. Can't say it was easy. Slow down. Definitely kind of mucky, I think. I don't know if I trust walking on this stuff. Whoa. Definitely looks like there could be big moose prints down here though. Stomping around. Be a fun place for a moose to hang out. Some kind of turd. Found a tree that tipped over. Okay, keep going. Go that way, go that way. So that pond that I just showed you was not the one I went to previously, and it's much smaller. So I'm trying to get over to the other one that I've seen before. And you kind of see an opening over there, but it's not the easiest terrain. You can't tell on the camera, but it's all downhill. It's probably about 30 to 40 feet below us down there. So we're trying to get around to make it an easier route. Got down to a spot that has definitely moose trumps. Big giant moose trumps. And there's a path that goes out into the swamp. On a tiny little creek that goes into the pond. Seeing if Sig wants a drink. You want to get a drink? Right here, right here. Turn around. Sig. Sig, get a drink right here. Nope. So here's where that little creek came in. There's a big moose pond. The water looks nice and clear, but very mucky, so I doubt it would be a swimming hole. Well, maybe it's a swimming hole for Sig. Sigurd just wants to go in. He's pretty nuts for it right now, but you can just smell the mud. It's pretty stanky out here. I mean, we're just in like weeds that are, you sink into mud and stuff, and it just smells like a swamp. This is where I came out to last year because I have a photo of that stump with a tree growing out the top of it. I don't know if you can see it with the dang sunlight. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So here's one of the things about these moose ponds. You just have a wall of cedar sometimes that you have to try to get through. And that did not make it fun to get out here. But they're beautiful trees. The other cool thing about that wall of cedars, you see the light out there? Check out how dark. It literally dropped like 15 degrees getting in this little forest. Could you hear the grouse? Sig definitely did. And he's gonna be a bird dog. Sig, hold on, bud. But yeah, here's that stand of cedars. Lots of light over the pond, and then it gets some light after you get out of the cedars. So he gives a pointer because right behind this tree, grouse season actually just started last weekend. Hold on, hold on. Goodness. We were out for a lot longer than I expected, almost 2 hours. And yeah, made it through the woods, so that's good. Saw that grouse and signs of beaver and moose. Other than that, heard some birds, squirrels. It was a neat little adventure. This is the back trail to the cabin. And then I have to go pick up a poop bag. But this is goes to the front side of the cabin. There'll be a little tee off. This continues down all of the property. Well, I got back and had lunch, and now that the sun is out in the afternoon, there is a million flies inside and outside of the cabin. It is like when they get swarming, you can just hear them. It is extremely annoying. The battery died earlier, and I was telling you guys about all of the flies that are all over the place. I've heard it's a pretty normal thing up in this area, that a lot of cabins get these just fly infestations that they just keep popping up every time it gets nice and warm. So hopefully we can figure that out. I put up some fly ribbons, fly tape, and a couple like window sticky things to try to get them, but we need the windows open to get the breeze, and some of the windows, I don't know, they somehow get behind the screens and then they get inside. So it's one of those things. We're hopefully gonna figure it out though as we go. But pretty picture perfect, if I do say so myself. What do you think? You smell something good? So the owner of this property used to have sled dogs. And there's a bunch of old houses that his dogs would use while he was up here. And this was the trail that I says that comes to the back of the cabin. So it was a straight shot out to trails, and it brings you into some public trails. So you have miles of trail for the sled dogs. Let's see, there's some more boxes back here. There's the back side of the cabin. Can you see the grouse in there? Right between those trees. You can see it running. It's grouse season, and there's a lot of grouse on the property. So if we want to get into some grouse hunting, something that we can do. Grouse season started a couple weeks ago. So legally, if I had my license and a gun with me, I could go take that one. Sig isn't the pointer that I hope he would be, but still pretty fun. All right, Sig, ready? Whoa, slow down. Slow down. So in most of the videos, we got to this corner. I showed you those white pine, little baby white pines, and that's where this corner is. Normally we always take a right, but today we're gonna take a left and I'll show you a new trail. So this is the way we come into the cabin from the main road. It's about 3/4 of a mile of a little double track trail like this. So this is a little trail that isn't kept up with as much, but it'll pull us around back to the trail from the other direction. There'll be spots where it like kind of disappears a little bit, but we'll be able to make it work. But the main reason I wanted to bring you out here is because there is a beautiful cedar tunnel. And like earlier when I said how the sun kind of just disappears in these like cedar, some of these cedar stands, you'll kind of notice that here. So check it out. We're going downhill. See some cedars over here. Just goes into this slow down. Beautiful little tunnel. The light definitely changes a little bit. We're going to keep going to the right here, right outside of this cedar tunnel. But to the left, there's a slight trail. You can kind of see a slight trail cut into the woods. And then back behind, you can kind of see where the trees disappear in the skyline. There's actually another moose pond, which is actually on the property we're buying. And currently there's not much water in it because beavers have done a lot of work damming up some areas further north, and it's kind of moved the water out of that area. We already know there are moose that travel the property pretty frequently, but being able to make habitat that they enjoy throughout would be great to keep them coming. Sig, what are you doing? But in the future, I'll show you that pond, but we're going to continue on this trail and it'll cut back to where we initially hit upon this morning. There's a few maple trees back here. Maybe we'll be able to tap. They're the orange ones. As fall is starting, beautiful leaves. But maybe we'll have enough maple trees on the property that we'll be able to go ahead and tap for maple syrup. So another nature is neat thing. How many of you knew that pine trees will shed leaves or needles? I mean, this is a cedar tree, so kind of a coniferous tree. Like white pines, red pines, all the different pine trees will drop needles. A lot of times in fall, sometimes in spring. Some do, cycles of every 3 years. They drop a lot of needles, but it's one way for them to keep themselves healthy. One thing we've learned is there are a lot of mushrooms on the property. I'm not sure that these ones are edible, but I've been told that there are a lot of different types of edible mushrooms that mushroom hunters are really interested in. So I hope to maybe take a class. There's a local folk school that has a class on mushroom hunting. I'd really love to learn from people that know what they're doing rather than picking up a book and being scared that we could eat a mushroom that could kill us. But yeah, that's something I'm really looking forward to getting into in the future. Here's the trail we came in and went over this way to get out to the ponds back there. And Sig wants to go that way, even though I'm letting him know it's time to go back on the actual trail. Right, Sig? Are we gonna go back now? Sigurd just jumped another grouse on the trail to the back side of the cabin. Sigurd's pretty tired after the walk. I'm making myself some macaroni and cheese. And I'm gonna call it a night. We'll see you tomorrow. You're a pretty cute dog up there. Are you such a cute dog? Are you such a cute dog? You want to keep going, huh? I just cleaned up around the cabin. Make sure there's no crumbs for the mice. Put up some more or new fly ribbon to hopefully get rid of some of them because they've been so bad the last few days. But me and Sig are going on a walk. Get some energy out of them before making them sit in the car for 6 hours on the way back to Katie's parents. Hoping to be up here before long. We'll see if we can't make it up here next week. It's really kind of dependent on the owner. He's planning to come up and move out some of his stuff that he wants to keep. And sounds like he's not actually going to make it this weekend like he originally planned. So thanks for following along. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell to be notified when we post new content. Lots more to come. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.